friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a video that I'm really excited about. I haven't seen many people on YouTube do anything about this topic, at least in the way that I'm gonna approach it, so I'm excited. A little backstory is that I was diagnosed at 14 with celiac disease, which means I have to eat gluten-free. And so that was over 10 years ago. So I have been gluten-free for 10 years. And I have tested so many different kinds of gluten-free products. Some are really good, some are really not good. So today I'm going to share with you my top 10 gluten-free substitutes of things that you can buy at a store. So this is not like the best gluten-free flour that you can use to bake. This is stuff that you could go buy and either eat right away or cook and eat. Like, it's very low maintenance stuff. So these are my top 10 substitutes of gluten-free products. So I have my little notes in front of me, but I'm gonna start with something that maybe people don't think about, and that is breadcrumbs. So if you're cooking with breadcrumbs, maybe you're breading something, maybe they're in some sort of meatloaf or something. People put breadcrumbs in a lot of stuff, and obviously if you're gluten-free, you need your own type of breadcrumbs. So my favorite breadcrumbs to use are the 4C breadcrumbs. Now I'm going to put pictures of everything right here because I did not go out and buy these products because I don't need some of them right now. But the 4C breadcrumbs, I have found them in Publix and in Walmart. I live in the southeast part of the country, so my grocery store is at Publix. So look for these in your grocery store. They're really good. You usually get a ton in a can, so they last for a really long time. So that is my breadcrumb substitute. Okay, the next one on my list is crackers. Now, there's a million types of crackers in the world, but I'm gonna tell you about the crackers that are a really good dupe for Ritz, because Ritz are classic and they're delicious. So a really good dupe or a gluten-free option for Ritz are these crackers from Lance. That's the brand. So they're the Lance gluten-free original crackers. Here's what they look like. Now they are a little crisper than Ritz. Like when you bite into Ritz, it kind of flakes away. This doesn't do that. It is a little more crisp and the texture is a bit different. But the flavor is the same. It's buttery, it tastes like a cracker, it's not dry, it's really good. But also these crackers are small. So a Ritz cracker is what? This big? Something like that? These are shrunk. So they're definitely not as big as Ritz, but they are a pretty good dupe. They're the best original buttery crackers I have found in my 10 years of being gluten-free, so I'm addicted to them. And if you have a party one day when Corona doesn't exist, or you want to do a little cheese and cracker board for yourself, this is a great option and I love them. The next gluten-free substitute we're going to talk about is pasta. So this is pasta that you buy in a store in a box, and obviously that's how I would assume most people consume their pasta. I'm going to talk about brands because there's so many different kinds of pastas. I am going to say that gluten-free pasta is usually not that big of a variety in the types of pasta. So a lot of times you'll see rotini or spaghetti or penne. Those are probably the pastas I see the most in gluten-free form. To find things like farfalle pasta or lasagna noodles, you have to do some hunting online and you might have to order them places, but if you just want to pick up pasta so you can have a normal easy pasta dish for dinner, these are the brands I would suggest getting. So if you have a Trader Joe's where you live, there is a Trader Joe's quinoa brown rice pasta that's gluten-free. It's pretty good. It comes in a really big bag, it's pretty cheap, and it's pretty good. I'm approving of that. There's two more brands I'm going to talk about. There's one brand called Ancient Harvest. Now, I haven't seen this too many places, but I have seen it and I have used it, and that brand usually has a lot of different kinds of pastas. So if you can find Ancient Harvest in your grocery store, that's a really great gluten-free pasta choice as well. And then the last one is Bonza. I've seen this mainly in Walmart. I've only tried it 1 or 2 times and it's pretty good. I would say that it's not the most amazing pasta, but if that's all you can find, it definitely is okay. Just an overall disclaimer with gluten-free pasta. It is good, it's still pasta, and pasta is amazing. And to me, pasta is what you put on it. So, but gluten-free pasta, the texture is good. It's just a little more of like a chewy texture. And there's a fine line with cooking it. Like you can cook gluten-free pasta and you can cook and cook and cook and you'll still feel like it needs more time. And then all of a sudden it's like mushy. So you have to like let it off the burner a little bit before you might want to, even if it has a little bit of a bite, because you don't want it to be mushy. So that's the only downside to gluten-free pasta, is that sometimes it can be really mushy if you let it cook for too long. But overall, it's not a bad thing to substitute. Okay, my next category is bagels. Now, a disclaimer for this is that bagels are very specific, like just bagels in general. They taste specific, they have a very specific texture, and gluten-free bagels are not going to taste the same or have the same texture. But I did find I have eaten 2 different kinds of gluten-free bagels that are not bad and I buy and enjoy. So the first brand is the Trader Joe's gluten-free bagels are pretty good. Now, the positive about this one is that you can buy them and you don't have to freeze them. A lot of times you'll see gluten-free baked goods like in the freezer section because they don't have gluten in them, obviously, and so they can go bad quickly. I don't know how the science of that works, but the gluten-free bagels at Trader Joe's you can buy off the shelf. They're not in the freezer and they last a good amount of time and they're good. Toasted, not toasted, super good. And they also have like 3 or 4 different flavors, like plain everything, cinnamon raisin. They have a lot of different gluten-free bagel flavors at Trader Joe's. Okay, the other brand I would say is pretty good for bagels, and you can find this at Target, at Walmart. I've seen it at Publix. This is pretty much everywhere, is the Udi's gluten-free bagels. Now these are in the freezer section. So what I do when I'm using these bagels is I will take one out of the freezer and I'll microwave it for like 30 seconds so I can cut it and it's like not as frozen. And then I cut it in half and I toast it and it tastes completely fine. It doesn't taste frozen. So those are both really good bagel brands if you want to try a gluten-free bagel, or if you are gluten-free and you haven't found a gluten-free bagel from a store. Those are 2 brands that I trust and that I like. So those are your bagel options. The next one is pancake/waffle mix. You're gonna find out pretty quickly that I'm in love with Trader Joe's, but Trader Joe's has a really good gluten-free pancake/waffle mix. This is what it looks like. I've used it for both pancakes and waffles. It's fluffy, it's crisp when you make a waffle, it tastes no different in my opinion, and it's just a classic waffle mix and it's great. So if you have a Trader Joe's, buy that one. If you don't, Bisquick also has a gluten-free version of their pancake and waffle mix, and it's pretty good. I used that a lot when I was in high school before I lived somewhere with Trader Joe's. Again, this substitute, to me, doesn't taste any different. So both are great options. Both will get you that feeling of pancakes or waffles at home, and both are delicious. This one is something that took me a lot of time to find a good substitute. A lot of trial and error went into this, and that is granola. Now I know a lot of people are really good at like making their own gluten-free granola with like nuts and gluten-free oats and stuff like that. I don't have the time or the skill to make granola, so I had to find a good gluten-free granola with a lot of trial and error. And the best gluten-free granola is from the brand Nature's Path. My favorite flavor is the honey and almond flavor, and here's a picture of it. But all of the granola from this brand is amazing, and it's all gluten-free. So if you want granola in your yogurt or just to snack on, this is a granola you should get if you're gluten-free. It has a great texture. You honestly don't feel like it's gluten-free granola. It is amazing. So that's the granola you should be buying if you're gluten-free. I'm obsessed with it. The next one is cookies that you can buy and snack on. So growing up, people buy Oreos, people buy Chips Ahoy, and neither of those brands have a gluten-free option, which is a bummer. So there is a brand that has made both like chocolate chip and Oreo type cookies that are pretty good, and that is Glutino. So this is what they look like, chocolate chip and Oreo. Glutino is a pretty good brand overall, but I would say their cookies are the best substitute I have found without having to like make chocolate chip cookies from a mix. They're not bad. They're probably the thing I buy the least on this list just because I'd rather make cookies, but if you just want to buy cookies to put in your lunch or to snack on without having to bake anything, these are pretty good. They have really good chocolate flavor. The texture is going to be a little more crisp than Oreos or Chips Ahoy just because the gluten aspect of a flour is what makes it flaky and soft, and obviously these don't have that, so they're going to be more crunchy, but they are good. So that's where I would suggest you buy your cookies. The next one is brownie mix. Now, cake mix, you can kind of get away with buying whatever you see. That's gluten-free. Most of them are pretty good, but brownie mix I am very specific on because I have made some bad gluten-free brownie mixes. And I found one that's actually pretty amazing. So this brand is called Krusties. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but this is what it looks like. Okay, this brand is really good. I've seen it at Walmart, I've seen it at Publix, and it's a brownie mix that definitely doesn't change the flavor or the texture of what I feel like a brownie is like. It definitely is moist and fluffy and chocolatey. It's so good. These are the best gluten-free brownies I've made. I've made them many times and they're amazing. So if you want to make some gluten-free brownies at home, this is the mix that you should get. Okay, I only have 2 more things on this list. The next one is pretzels, y'all. Pretzels are amazing. They're great, but they have a bunch of gluten in them, so gluten-free people have to find an alternative. And the company that makes the best pretzels ever also makes the best gluten-free pretzels, which is Snyder's. So Snyder's has a million different types of pretzels, shapes and sizes and flavors, and they have a really good range of gluten-free pretzels. They have mini pretzels, they have pretzel rods, they have flavored pretzels, they have pretzel sticks. They have a lot of really good options for gluten-free pretzels. I will say that the texture, again, is more crisp and less flaky than a normal pretzel, but the flavor is perfect and they're great. So now you don't have to miss out on pretzels anymore. You're welcome. All right, and the very last thing is the one you've all been waiting for. Where can I buy gluten-free bread? Now, gluten-free bread is tricky because I'm going to talk about mainly like sandwich bread and like toast type bread, because gluten-free bread is still something that needs to be more represented in different types of bread. But it's hard. It's hard to make gluten-free bread, and I completely understand why it's not mass-produced in a lot of different ways. So I'm sorry, but the best bread to buy if you're gluten-free is the Trader Joe's bread. Now, if you don't have a Trader Joe's, I just don't buy bread. Don't buy gluten-free bread. I hear a lot of people talk about Ezekiel bread and how they love that. I don't like that, but if you want to try it, that's in a lot of places like Target and Publix and Walmart. They sell Ezekiel bread, but Trader Joe's gluten-free bread is amazing. Now, there's 4 flavors, I think, of the gluten-free bread, and I am only a fan of 2 of the flavors. One of them is the like wheat bread that they sell. It's really good. You can eat it toasted or not toasted. It's great. And the Italian bread is so good. I've recently discovered this. It's the best toast. It's the best sandwich bread. It's great. Now, just like with everything else, the bread of gluten-free bread, like the texture, is going to be a little different. And it definitely is spongy, and like normal white bread, sandwich bread, whatever, you bite it and it kind of gets really pillowy and soft and like melts away. This doesn't do that. It's very spongy and doesn't like absorb and melt the way you would want it to. It feels very dense. But when you toast these breads, there's no difference. Genuinely, there's no difference. It feels like I'm eating toast. So when I use this bread, even in sandwiches, I toast the bread and then I just make a sandwich and it's better. So that is where you should be buying gluten-free bread. I will have all of these things I've listed linked below, hopefully on like Amazon and stuff if you live in a place that doesn't have some of these brands. But the Trader Joe's stuff, I think I can only link from Trader Joe's. Anyway, those are all of my gluten-free substitute ideas. Now, if you have any snack or product that you haven't found a substitute for, comment it below and I will leave you my best recommendation. These are all the things I could think of that I feel like people eat on a regular basis and look for in a store, and that every store sells these type of things. So those are my recommendations for gluten-free substitutes. Okay, so that was the video. If you liked me talking about my gluten-free diet, like this video, comment your suggestions of other gluten-free topics I could talk about. I would really love to do some gluten-free baking videos. I'm going to do a gluten-free what I eat in the day soon, because I do mainly fully eat gluten-free. Oh, there's an ambulance or a fire truck. Okay, it's gone. But yeah, I would really love to keep talking about this. This is something that's very much part of my life and has been for a while, and I'm definitely not an expert, but I have done a lot of trial and error, and I'm here to tell you what the best products are. So yeah, go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you're new. I've really been loving posting videos, and I'm really happy you're here. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great day or night. Keep spreading positivity, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends!